Oh dear. Labour flexibility. Funny. Ooh, neo-corporatism. Neo. It was a Matrix. Oh, hello. You're probably wondering why I'm reading this book in the middle of my room. Why am I standing like this, laughing? Well, I'll tell you why. I'm making a video. In fact, it's recording right now and it's looking at me. It's the evening. I've been putting it off all day because I'm miserable. And I thought I would do a video. Yay. In reality, I had to do something because, well, how the heck do you start a YouTube video? Well, I thought this would be the best method. Yep, brainstorming for all of 5 minutes. Laid out. So without further ado, this here is the wonderful, wonderful world of basic politics with me. And today we're going to talk about codified and uncodified constitutions. So first of all, we really would be best to summarize what a constitution is. In its form, Andrew Hayward highlights that constitutions have been defined as something that is the linchpin of liberal democracy and also something that is meant to give rough guidelines and a framework to a government. He also goes on to highlight how there are many constitutions that contradict this point. In essence, a constitution doesn't really have a true definition. It could be anything written down or effectively established that is the new status quo of the government. The framework, real outline sketches. As a result, no constitution is the same, and there isn't really a rule as to what becomes a constitution other than one declaring it as their constitution. Effectively, it's their guidelines, and to that end, it can mean anything. So most countries in the world have a codified constitution. What this means is their constitution is written down in a single document and it provides the framework of that nation. The most famous, the USA. What we know about the US Constitution and most written constitutions is that they do a good job. They actually do ensure the framework of the country continues to run very smoothly, and it is very established that you have a security net. You have this overarching principle of this is the established laws from when the Constitution was made, and that every law that is created afterwards, that it falls within the remits of the previous Constitution. What's more about the Constitution is that we all know that the US Constitution has changed. In fact, very early on, the Bill of Rights was introduced, and that is effectively the first 10 amendments. Amendments in the US system are very hard to come by, but most constitutions do offer a form of flexibility to allow these changes, but they're not really something that can happen just like that. They need a very, very strong majority to have these changes. In the US instance, it has to go through both chambers of Congress. So you're probably wondering, therefore, and more bafflingly, what is an unwritten constitution? You see, a written constitution is quite straightforward. It's a single document. It just establishes the basic powers. So what happens to countries that are unwritten? Well, for example, I'm from the UK. We have an unwritten constitution. Now, this doesn't mean that the country doesn't know what it's doing. It doesn't mean that no one's made up any rules and we're screaming around going, oh my God, we have no constitution. Wait, we do have a constitution though. It's just unwritten. Exactly. What it means by unwritten is you have a set of rules in place that have been established from the previous person. Judicial decisions, governmental meetings, governmental decisions, pressure groups, all these little factors are playing a part in building a constitution. In essence, the UK constitution would, if it was written, would be probably miles and miles long and beyond the human comprehension of even reading it. What we know about the UK's established system is that it does allow for change. That's the benefit of an unwritten constitution. If you're in a country that wishes to develop a much more free-flowing system, a little bit easier going, and perhaps something that allows for the changes to come about more organically and a bit quicker, unwritten actually works much better in this favour. Because if, let's say, a judge has ruled that a decision that was made by an individual is a crime, or he sees it as fit as a crime, as according to previous decisions, he can do so. See, a judge, therefore, in the UK has a lot more power than maybe a judge does in America, because his rulings are based on previous judge decisions. They're not based on a document that that judge previously had decided on. So what's the problem with an unwritten constitution? Well, if you come from a country which is maybe exposed to radicalism, that can be quite dangerous, because effectively overnight you could be overthrown, and as a result the law is not really as clearly established. But if you want to be progressive as a nation, UK, Sweden, we'd like to think, you can actually implement these changes a bit easier and a bit quicker. Probably a most noted example of this was the gun law changes in the late 90s, where the UK pretty much removed all weaponry unless you had an explicit reason to have the license. In a country where it's codified, we actually all do know that the problems they have with changing these laws, because they do need a vast majority. However, it does protect the government and the country from radicalism, you'd like to think. This has been the differences between codified and uncodified constitutions. It's been lovely speaking to you all. This is my first video, as the intro said, as in me on camera. A little bit nerve-wracking, I'll be honest. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I do gaming, and I'm going to do more basic politics stuff. Probably better written and better executed next time. The quality can only go up, eh? Thank you.